Life has not been the kindest to me these days. I'll be honest about it. It really hasn't. And on top of, everything that I already have going on, the straw that broke the camel's back, the icing on the cake really is the fact that I got my feelings hurt recently. I think when you're such a sensitive soul, the way that I am, someone who always sees the best in everyone, someone who gets pleasure from pouring my love and my care into other people, realizing that not everyone is the same, realizing, that some people, no matter how kind you are, no matter how understanding you try to be, they have no, they don't think twice about hurting your feelings, saying things to you, treating you in a way that you would never treat them. That's really, I think, something that I've struggled with, especially as getting older. I think in a lot of ways I'm still kind of naive. I don't know. Just being a lover girl, I feel like in this age is a curse. I don't know. This hasn't happened to me in a minute. I'm going to be so honest. And so I don't know. There's a part of me that doesn't really know how to process this or how to deal with this. And so the only way that I can really think of, or at least right now, the way that makes the most sense to me is to pour the love, to pour the energy, the kindness, the understanding, everything, that I'm so eager and so quick to give other people, to pour that back into myself. A thought that has really stuck with me, something that is at the front of my mind, is the idea that I could never be alone because I have myself. For me personally, loss and grief feel monumental. I think for me personally, it's difficult for me to let go. It's difficult for me to come to terms with losing something that I wanted to keep so badly. The idea that no matter what I lose, no matter what leaves me, it'll be okay, because at the end of the day, I have my biggest cheerleader, I have my biggest supporter, I have the person who will love me till the ends of the earth, who will do anything for me to make sure I'm okay. I have me, and that's really all that matters. So this week specifically, since everything feels so raw and so fresh, I am making it a priority to take care of me. And my main goal, my main priority is to, really reinforce the belief that I will always have my back. And because I'm somebody who cares and loves so deeply, when other people don't care and love as deeply for me as I do for them, I often feel like I'm alone. There's a part of me that doesn't feel, I guess, worthy of the same care and consideration that I give others, but I'm just like, girl, the love and the care that you give others is the same love and care you have to give to yourself. Actually, the way that you love and care for others, you should love and care for yourself more. And so that's really what this week is. It's my intentional, I guess, journey back to myself. It's my reminder that as long as I'm in my corner, it doesn't matter who else is. I could never really, really lose as long as I have me. This week, friend, we're taking care of me, and I don't really know what that means all the time. I think it's easier said than done. I think pouring into yourself, giving yourself love, being patient with yourself, not losing yourself during difficult times is something sometimes they just feel like words. And I don't want to say I'm going to take care of myself, I'm going to pour into myself, and then not actually have tangible things and not take action to doing that, if that makes sense. I have really big ideas. I'm feeling really big emotions, and I think sometimes it's not always the easiest for me to find words that express what I want to say accurately, but I am trying my best. So tonight we're doing a little bit of knitting. I'm also going to do some journaling. I know it's so corny. It sounds so corny sometimes, but genuinely being able to write and put my thoughts on paper help so much. I have not been journaling as often as I would like to journal. I think sometimes I view journaling as what am I trying to say? Like the same way like when you're in school and your teacher makes you write an essay or like makes you do assigned reading, like sometimes journaling feels like an assigned school task. And I'm just like, ugh, I don't really want to do it. But also, I think it could be the fact that, I definitely have an all or nothing mindset. And so I've never been someone who could just like write a sentence or two. Like to me, it has to be a couple of pages of thoughts. But I think I want to be, I don't know, like I love going back and reading my old journal entries. I've been keeping a journal since the seventh grade. Being able to go back and read through different eras, different periods of my life, it's comforting in a way. And especially like when I read something that I wrote during a difficult time like this one, where I can think back and I'm just like, ugh, it really felt like the end of the world back then. And now that I'm however long removed from it, I can look back and realize, like it was tough, but I'm tougher. And even, like some of the worst times of my life, in the moment it feels like I'll never get through it, I'll never get over it, and here I am. Over it, got through it, and so that's really where I'm at right now. I'm trying to remind myself that life, loss, grief, love, it comes in waves, and as intense as it feels right now is not as intense as it will always be. And the one thing that will always be steady, my anchor through the ebbs and the flows, is myself. Enough yapping, I guess. I am knitting the loopy stripe cardigan. I've done like a million videos on this cardigan. I'm knitting it just a little bit tonight. Oh my goodness, I literally just dropped, I don't know, my needles are so slippery tonight. I just dropped like 10 stitches. Let me try to pick these up really quick. This is the reason why this cardigan has taken me forever. This is the reason why this is like my third attempt. Something always happens and it's like, I don't even know. It just happens out of nowhere. Okay. I'm starting to kind of get the cast on itch. I haven't had that in a hot minute. I really have not had that in a hot minute. I might cast on something new this week. I think that would make me feel really good actually, but for now we are knitting the loopy stripe cardigan. Friend, so tonight actually I went to my salsa class today. Actually had so much fun. My friend invited me one time, I went with her, and then after that time I was like, you know what if I actually went back and tried to learn something new. The first time that I went to salsa, friend, I'm not even gonna lie, I felt like everybody was picking up the moves, everybody was figuring it out, and I was like, yeah, the same for me. Halfway through the class, I literally was like, as soon as this class is over, I am never coming back. But I had thought about it, and then I had my crazy weekend, and I was like, you know what? I think going to salsa class would be really fun. It is something that gets me out of my comfort zone. It's something that I never thought that I would do, and I don't know, it's kind of fun. So tonight was my second class. I am going to try to do this weekly. I'm gonna try not to give up. It's like something nice that I have to look forward to, and who knows? In 6 months, I will be fairly decent. Today was my second class. My instructor is the cutest, and it was overall a good time, good vibes. So that's what I did today. If you would have told me half a year ago that I would be getting into salsa dancing, I wouldn't have believed you. I feel like it is so outside of I want to say my character, like it's so outside of who I thought I was. But then at the same time, the person that I want to be is someone who's adventurous. It's almost 11 o'clock. I'm supposed to be going to bed in like 30 minutes or so. I knit about, how many rows did I just knit right now? Maybe 2 rows. I guess not that much. Friend, it is getting bigger. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's about 200-ish stitches. I don't know if I mentioned before, but After that first decrease I did, I'm not doing any more decreases. Someone commented on my last video that they omitted the decreases altogether and the sweater still ended up being too small. We know that my biggest issue with this sweater in the past was that it ended up being too small, and so I made a bigger size, and I am omitting the cinched waist, and I've done one decrease. I'm not going to do any more. We're really just knitting stockinette, the length of the body, and then the ribbing. This is what our loopy stripe cardigan is looking like. I made it 2 rows. Not a lot, right? But slow and steady wins the race. So before I go to sleep, I do want to journal just a little bit. You know how, like, I don't know if it's just me, but if I'm going through anything, I love to just doom scroll on reels. Sorry, that's my guilty pleasure. And like, you find one reel that's so specific to what you're thinking, and then Instagram is like, oh, girl, this is the for you page. Well, I found this reel, and that's where I got the phrase, like, got my feelings hurt. This is the first time that I've heard it from this creator, like, as a euphemism. Is that the word for heartbreak, a breakup, getting broken up with? I got my feelings hurt. And so that's what I'm going to be saying for now on. I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I got my feelings hurt. But this creator came up with all of these journal prompts. I think it's like 5 or 6 journal prompts. And I was watching the video and I was like, oh, oh. And so I want to write to one of these. I think these are a lot more like introspective, a lot deeper maybe than something I would have thought to write on my own. And so this is the reel that I found from Nigel Marcellus.
As someone who is excited and ready to date this year, I got my feelings hurt and I'm over it. So these are the 5 questions that I'm currently sitting with because I got my feelings hurt. And if you know me, you know they're probably going to be deep, so you might want to bring out your journal too. Here we go. Question 1. How much of my self-worth was tied to finally being chosen? And what does that reveal about the story I've been telling myself about love? Question 2. In what ways have I treated partnership as proof that my life was finally beginning? Whew. Question 3. What discomfort in my own life was I hoping love would make easier to carry? Question 4. Who do I become if I stop organizing my identity around being the person who is still waiting for their turn? Whew. And last, question 5. Can I build a life so meaningful that love becomes an addition to it rather than evidence that it matters? And you know what? I'm going to give y'all one more. What did getting my feelings hurt interrupt in me besides the possibility of a relationship? Which one of these questions resonated with you the most? Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be dating again until I get through these questions.
Okay, so I think the question that I'm going to choose is, what discomfort in my own life was I hoping love would make easier to carry? Friend, I will say this. You know, I love to read a good journal entry. I love to read some of my stuff on camera, but I think this might be just a little too vulnerable, honestly. I'm going to try to write a sentence or two that I do feel comfortable sharing, just because, you know, I love to share. I don't know. This question is something else. What discomfort in my own life was I hoping love would make easier to carry? That's crazy, right? Okay. 15 minutes, friend. We're going to journal. We're going to be honest, and then I'm going to see if there's anything that I feel like I can share. Maybe it can help somebody else. So 15 minutes on the clock, friend. Let's go. I have been journaling definitely for longer than 15 minutes. I feel like when I started writing, suddenly I had so much to say. So we're not going to read the entire essay. This is not a trauma dump video, but I am going to read the first 2 sentences. I feel like they encapsulate what I really was trying to say in my entire entry. So the question is, what discomfort in my own life was I hoping love would make easier to carry? And I wrote, life has always felt like a theater performance, one where everyone knows their lines and I wasn't even given the script. I've always believed that love, being in love, having someone to love me back, would make me feel like part of the cast and less like an audience member. Of course, I wrote more. We're not reading all of that, but yeah, I loved that journal prompt. I will be returning back to that video maybe sometime this week, maybe sometime in the future, just to sit down and fully answer the rest of those questions. I really loved them. But for now, I think that was enough reflecting. It is very late and I am very tired. I've been at work all day. I've been sweating all day, friend. This is literally what I look like. But I wanted to come to the roller rink and skate for just a little bit before I went home. I normally skate at the beach, but recently I've been into skating at the roller rink and I love it. Actually, the pavement is so much smoother. I will say it's kind of weird just skating in a circle as opposed to, on the beach, on the pavement. But I'm in the parking lot right now. They open up, I think, in 30 minutes or so. And so I'm here and we're just gonna skate a little bit. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna listen to the music and then I'm gonna go home and knit just a little bit. I don't know, during a difficult time, something that really boosts my mood, something that reminds me, that bad times are not forever, something that, I don't know, just makes me feel good is after work, not just going home and rotting or being so eager to handle my obligations, doing something fun just because it's the middle of the week doesn't mean, that we can't have a good time. The roller rink is gonna open up in a couple of minutes or so. We're gonna go inside and we're gonna have a good time. Friend, I'm going to be so honest, no knitting has transpired since the roller rink. The last few days after work, I've really just wanted to come home and do my walk and take a nap. I did feel bad at first, I need to film my video, I have my outline, I'm going to be so behind. I had all of these ideas in my head on where I wanted the video to go, but I think allowing yourself rest and flexibility and not being strangled by the imaginary deadline you put on yourself is a part of the healing process. I was trying to remind myself that with everything going on, the last thing that I wanted to do was stress out about this video. More than anything, I just wanted it to come from the heart and be as honest as I could make it. And if that means, I wasn't able physically, mentally to film for a couple of days. It is not the end of the world. I trust myself to do what I need to do, and it is okay if I need a little extra time. But this week, my job as a summer counselor ended, and I'm a little sad about it. It had become a part of my routine for a couple months now, and now that it's over, I'm kind of in a space where I'm like, so what now? I think it's kind of funny actually, but I realized that my little fling was about the same length as camp, and kind of realizing that, I don't know, it makes it hurt just a little less. I think this was a season of my life, one that I enjoyed thoroughly, one that I'll remember forever, but now it's over. One of my kids at camp on the last days were telling me like how sad she was going to be once the program was over and we couldn't see each other anymore. And I told her that I was going to be sad too. But then I told her, like, even though we're sad, this isn't necessarily a sad moment. I said, I think it would be more sad if we had never met, if we had never experienced summer camp at all. Losing people, routines changing, it doesn't feel good, but I think it's better to have something really good for a little while than to have never had it at all. I told her that her memories of camp are hers forever and no one will ever be able to take that away. I don't know if that was comforting, but it's honest. And while I'm sad this chapter of my life is ending, it's shown me that life can be good again. I can meet new people. I can have good experiences. Things ending doesn't take away from that. If anything, it's a reminder to be present and to enjoy it fully because it might not be yours forever. I'm going to be so honest, I have not knit as much on this cardigan as I have wanted to this week, but slow progress is still progress nonetheless. I'm going to finish this purl row, maybe do one more knit purl row. I'm trying to see, like, should I change the colors? 1, 2, 3. No, I said I was gonna have 4 purple stripes in total. This is the third one. So I'm going to follow this pattern for 2 more stripes, like a beige stripe and then a purple stripe, and then we'll change the colors. I am going to have like an official loopy cardigan vlog coming very soon. I know, friends, you guys really like those. So I love filming them. Also, I mean, it's still summer. I don't want to say like, I was going to say like, oh, I need to like hurry up and knit this. It's going to be fall soon, but we've still got a decent amount of summer left, and it's been like 90 degrees plus like the last couple weeks. So I do want to finish this before the fall, but we still have some time. Knitting is my stress reliever, and so this week I wasn't too focused on output, more just, I guess, the process. This week's video is probably my most personal, my most vulnerable piece of work that I've put out so far. I'm going to be so honest. Like halfway through this week, I was like, maybe I should just scratch the idea and do something else. Like, I don't know. I've always prided myself in being a private person. And like, I'm not really one to get on the internet and start telling my business, but this is my channel. And I have documented my life for the last 10 years. And this is something that's going on in my life. And I wanted to document it. I don't know. I feel like also now that I'm really getting into making YouTube videos, this is the most consistent I've been since I've had my channel over 10 years. I'm kind of getting to the point where like, I don't want to say that I don't want to make YouTube videos because I do still enjoy making them. I can't necessarily say that I don't have time either because I do have enough time to do at least one video a week. I think what's going on is, now that my channel has seen a little bit of traction, I feel like sometimes I just want to make a video that I know will perform well, a video that's like algorithm friendly. And while I don't think there's really anything necessarily wrong with that, for me personally, it's hard for me to do something if I'm not passionate about it, if I'm not excited about it. And so I think just doing videos that, the algorithm is telling me to do videos specifically like that I know will perform well, I've kind of gotten to the point where, I don't know, I want to make YouTube fun again. That's the only way that I'm really going to be able to stick to it. And so I don't know. I'm working on maybe making, I don't know if I'm working on maybe making like more personal videos, but I am slowly trying to rethink my YouTube strategy, and I want, to maybe make more like videos that require more of my creativity, more of my honesty. I want to start putting, I think, just a little bit more effort into my videos. I've gotten kind of used to having to put out a new video every week. Okay, for some reason, talking and knitting, like, I can never do both at the same time. I'm getting so used to having to put out a new video every week. I think some weeks I'm just like, ugh, I'm gonna put out whatever just to keep up with the schedule, which, I guess is not necessarily a problem sometimes, but I do want, I don't know, I think I want to make videos that showcase, I think, a wider range of my skills in terms of execution, creativity levels. Does that make sense? I express myself, I tell my story through my art, and this is a little keepsake that I will be able to have for this moment of my life, even if it's maybe not necessarily like the most positive, the happiest. It's my life. And I already feel, I think, so much better just throughout this whole week, being able to reflect, being able to sit down and talk and get all of the ideas that live in my head out and into the world. And if there's even one person who watches this video and feels a little less alone, who feels like this resonates with them, I feel like maybe making myself just a little bit uncomfortable to share my story is 100% worth it. Also, this is my tangible piece of work that I'll be able to keep forever and ever. And, when life gets really, really, really good for me, I'll be able to look back on this time and think, you know what, girl? We made it all the way through. Next week's video will definitely be a lot more lighthearted and fun and probably a little bit longer. But I do hope that whoever needs to see this video sees it. I hope it resonates with somebody. I think that's it. Thank you so much for spending time with me and listening and letting me spill my heart all over the place. I will see you next Sunday. Bye.